ओम सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. We have to study from today a new part 5, the last part. Of course, in our study it is not the last. We studied the 3rd, 4th and now 5th. After that we will study the 2nd and the 1st. So, and this is a natural sequel to part 3 and 4, which is Guru Bhav. We have seen that condensed Guru Bhav becomes Divya Bhav. And a small glimpse of that Divya Bhav was given with Gopal's story. And at that time, Saradananda Swamiji did not imagine that he will come up to this writing. He just wanted to show Thakur's personality. But then he found that Thakur wants him to write more. There is occasion. And his series in Udbodhan became highly popular. So he wrote Sadhak Bhav. And after Sadhak Bhav, there was a demand that write about Thakur's advent. So he wrote about Thakur's advent. And then he found that there is still occasion for him. And so he took up this 5th part. That is the order of writing. But our order of study is slightly different. Because Divya Bhav is the natural sequel of Guru Bhav. And because he did not know he will write, so he wrote that Gopal story. So he has himself shown that after Guru Bhav follows Divya Bhav. He got the time and occasion to write, so he wrote the details. Now in these details, it is very, very important for us because very difficult to become like Gopal. But Swami Vivekananda is the prototype of modern educated man inclined towards religion. The best representative of this, best representative of all of us is Swami Vivekananda. And you shall find Swami Akanda goes on making error after error and Sri Ramakrishna corrects him. So he becomes our best representative. Those errors are natural to us, being modern educated in the Western style. So from every point of view, this part contains 2 personalities. So the heading is Part 5, Sri Ramakrishna the Great Master, the Master in the Divine Mood, and Narendra Nath. The very name Narendra has entered. Because it is action, interaction, and character of both Thakur and Narendra is shown. Thakur in the divine mood. Thakur is to be taken there as God himself. And Narendra is the ideal man, ideal sadhak, ideal Western educated sadhak. Ancient sadhakas, Gopal Verma. Modern sadhakas, best representative, Swami Vivekananda. We are not concerned here with what Swami Akanda did in America. We are not concerned here that Swami Akanda had 18 powers. We are concerned here as how Sri Ramakrishna molded Swami Vivekananda. And we desire keenly to be molded that way. We'll neither become Sri Ramakrishna nor will become Swami Vivekananda. But Swami Vivekananda's mode, we will be molded. Otherwise, there is no gati for us. Otherwise, there is no place for us in spiritual life. Our spiritual life has to follow Vivekananda. And along with him, so many other disciples of Thakur will come. Best is Swami Vivekananda. Now, how Saradananda Swamiji called Swami Vivekananda? We have seen that somewhere. Sri Ramakrishna Charnashrita Pujyapat Swami Vivekananda. In the very introduction, he had written that, preface to Guru Bhava. So, why I am talking all this is, there is a wrong trade, modern ancient terminology. Keeping Swami Akanda is more important. Forgetting about Thakur. There was a conversation between Latu Maharaj and Swami Akanda. Swami Akanda is telling, had I not preached, who would have known your Thakur? Latu Maharaj said, had Thakur not been there, you would have become an advocate in some Calcutta lane. Understood. Now, this is simply theoretical imaginary. It will never be there that Thakur will not be there, or you will not be there, or will not come in connection. But this is what Latu Maharaj said. You might have been a famous advocate living in some lane in Calcutta. So, it was Thakur who molded Swami Vivekananda. And what Swami Vivekananda himself is telling, somebody quoted wrongly recently. Somewhere I heard. From a handful of dust, he could have created Vivekananda. That is not Swamiji's vachan. Swamiji says from one particle of dust, he could create lakhs of Vivekananda. From one particle of dust, Thakur could create lakhs of Vivekananda. But this time he has decided to work through this man. So what can I do? I have to work. So this is what to understand. We are not belittling Swami Vivekananda in any way. But if you do not understand this, we will neither understand Thakur nor Swamiji. Let me discuss one more point. Why Swami Vivekananda is more famous? Can you tell me? If you have studied Ishopanishad, you could understand. Suppose we minus Thakur. Then what we find in Swamiji? Glamour. The external glamour. He was the best speaker in Chicago Parliament. He was extremely handsome. He had 18 powers. So, a man is attracted in the Ishopanishad, it is said. At the time of passing away, that sadhak is looking at the sun and requesting, O sun god, please remove your Rashmi, please reduce your rays. I want to see your Kalyanatama roop. So, Thakur is telling Brahma Samaj people, why you are talking so much of Ishwara as Aishwarya? Why not talk of Ishwara? Thakur says a small child. Does he say, my father has so many gardens, my father has... He loves his father. He knows that father loves him. So glamour, external glamour. So we must be careful about it. If you are drawn to the external glamour, will not reach the reality. And so the sadhak is praying that please remove your glamour. I want to see your real nature. So, this is the comments before we proceed. If you look at the other side, unless Swami Vivekananda would have been there, how could we have understood Thakur? Because we are all modern, educated young men. Those people could understand Thakur. Padmalochan or Narayan Shastri or Gopal Irma, they did not require Swami Vivekananda. But the modern educated young man does require Swami Vivekananda in between to understand Thakur. And we cannot understand Swami Vivekananda unless we understand through Thakur. Both are correct. So now, part 5, Sri Ramakrishna the Great Master, the Master in the Divine Mood, and Narendra Nath. We come to the preface by the author. In this 5th part of Sri Ramakrishna the Great Master, which is now published, the events of the Master's life from the time when he first became acquainted with the Brahmo devotees, from there it starts. Modern educated people, they were. To the time when he came to Calcutta for treatment of his throat disease and stayed at Shampookur, have been recorded as far as possible. Now, after Shampookur, he went to Kashipur. And about Kashipur, Saradananda Swamiji wrote separately after Leelaprasanga 3 different essays in Udbodhan. So, in the 4th edition here, they were incorporated as appendix. And that is why the preface is not talking like that. Understood this point? From the time when he first became acquainted with the Brahmo devotees to the time when he came to Calcutta for treatment of his throat disease and stayed at Shampookur, have been recorded as far as possible. During this time, the Master was fully established in the divine mood, and all his actions and behavior were prompted by this mood. Again, this part of his life was united forever with Narendra's life. United? See, the Bengali is extremely beautiful. And that clause comes afterwards. And united forever with Narendra's life in such a sweet relationship that when we go to study this part of the Master's life, the story of Narendra's life presents itself simultaneously. So united, all right. ईदृश मधुर संबंधे चिरकाल निमित्तम मिलित हो गया चलो joined united all right. The present part of the book has accordingly been called The Master in the Divine Mood and Narendranath. We could not imagine when we began to write the play of the Divine Mother as Sri Ramakrishna. We discussed this when we started discussing the book itself, the name Sri Ramakrishna Leelaprasanga. That is not Sri Ramakrishna's Leela. The divine sports in different ages. In this age, it's portrayed as Sri Ramakrishna. That episode is being told. Here you see that Saradananda Swamiji is telling the same thing. अच्छा This is in English translation. Okay. Considering some important point, it is not statement of fact only. Considering all things, we are convinced that it has been rendered possible by His inconceivable grace only. That means Thakur wanted this to be written. And the fittest person to write is Swami Saradananda. So Saradananda did not imagine that I will write. But Thakur made him write. Bowing down therefore at his lotus feet again and again. So that is what he is teaching us to do. If our reading will be successful, it will be due to his grace only. Bowing down therefore at his lotus feet again and again, we humbly place this part before the reader. Then there is the publisher's note about the in the Bengali volume, there is another note by the publisher, just now as I told orally, Prakashakir Nivedan. Here, in the footnote, this has been given. The footnote says, to which has been added the last chapter dealing with the events at Kashipur, which first appeared in the Bengali monthly Udbodhana's article. There in the Prakashakir Nivedan, in the 4th edition, that Kashipur thing has been added. Okay. Now, two more points. Saradan Swamiji was asked, why you have not written in details about the cancer part? Saradan Swamiji replied, I cannot write. I cannot imagine those things. He has said, no, I have not written anything which I have not experienced. So to visualize that thing is not possible. So this reply appears like a Bhakta's reply. I cannot conceive of that. The other question was asked, why not you have not written about the end? To which Saradan Swamiji replied, there is no end. So that is the Jnani's reply. Anyway, now before telling a chapter, he calls it a brief retrospect. Because this is Divya. So what has been told before has to be summarized told. And then connected. This connection part is there. Ascertaining the period in the master's life when he had a special manifestation of the divine mood. So time period has to be ascertained. The master, who has said before, brought his sadhana to a close by performing the worship of Shodashi, the Divine Mother, in AD 1873. What is the Shodashi? No, because we should not confuse between Shodashopachar Puja. Shodashi's mother is conceived as a girl of 16 years, the prime of youth. Holy Mother was 18 or 19 at that time. And Thakur worshipped her, taking her to be the Divine Mother of 16 years. In AD 1873, it will not therefore be improper to say that from then on, he performed all the actions of his life under the impulse of the divine mood. Sadhanas are over. After sadhanas, he went to pilgrimage. All that is over. And Holy Mother was worshipped after some gap. And all those years we have studied already is making him able to give his message to the world. So all that is done. And He worshipped Holy Mother as Shodashi and offered his mala and japa and file everything to her. So, an official conclusion of his sadhaka. Till then he is doing sadhana and he is guru simultaneously. But now sadhana is over. Now only divine. That is how he defines. The master was then 38 years old. So that mood continued through his life for a little more than 12 years. Thakur passed away in the 51st year. So a little more than 12 years. During this time, all his actions assumed an extraordinary novel character by the will of the Universal Mother. Under the impulse of that will, he applied his mind to establish religion among those persons who had a modern Western education. That was his main work he did. It is therefore clear that at the end of the full 12 years practice of penances, sadhana, the master spent 6 years in getting acquainted with his own power and the spiritual state of the people in general. 6 years. That pilgrimage period and all the other period. Then Shodashi Puja. Therefore, he was seen engaged with unrivaled energy in the task of re-establishing the eternal religion and arresting the decline of religion that came on India under the strong impulse of Western ideas and ideals. So Glani is of various types. Now the strong impulse of Western ideas and ideas. That did not create the Dharma Glani, but that gave force to that Dharma Glani, which preached that this world was all in all. Iyaloka Sarvas. He retired from this world after bringing to a close this said task. So established religion in young educated people, and when the task is complete, he went back, so retired. Now we proceed to record according to our capacity how he accomplished this divine task. The reader might think, from what we said before, that the master remained in the mood of spiritual aspirant till his 39th year. That means divine mood has to come before also, that is what he wants to say. But no clear divine. It was not so. We tried to explain before in the third part of the book that all those who have received the reverence and adoration of the world as gurus, prophets or founders of religion, for leading humanity to the realization of spiritual truths, were seen to have manifested those qualities even from their childhood. He is God. Parading why we hold the last 12 years of his life to be the period of the special manifestation of this mood. In the master's case too, we find the expression of these in all the stages of his life. Rama, no, outside. In the master's case too, we find the expression of these in all the stages of his life, including his childhood. We have seen that under the impulse of these, he did many things during the time of his sadhana in his youth. And seeing the completion of his sadhanas at the age of 32, we find him doing almost everything with their help when he went on pilgrimage with Mathu. Their help means this divine mood. All his deeds during this time and afterwards were undertaken under the same inspiration. So the reason why we date the manifestation of his divine mood and his application of himself to the establishment of religion from AD 1875 is that since then his divine mood was in one continuous flow. and the mission of his life was clearly and definitely undertaken. We find him firmly taking a stand against Western materialism and the culture and civilization based on material science. So this gives force to the Dharmaglani, and Thakur is standing against it. For it had entered India and made the men and women of the country assume an outlook on life which was contrary to that of the eternal religion and was daily weaning them from it, taking away. So he applied himself wholeheartedly to the introduction of true religion among these English educated people, so that through his guidance, the lives of the people in general might be blessed with the right light divine. Through them, the whole world will come to know. And that is why Saradananda Swamiji calls him Acharyana Mahacharya. The Master, with the help of the divine mood, has freed India from the evil effects of the onrush of Western culture and civilization. He has given the solution. It is needless to say that there arose an especial need for doing so. The national character of India and the eternal religion, it seems, would have been completely destroyed had not by the will of God, the Master's life, established in the divine mood and possessed of extraordinary spiritual power, stood against it. So, to understand the importance of something or the value of something, we have to imagine what had happened if he was not there. If he was not there, India would have been drowned in the Western influence. A little reflection shows us that just as the Master's practice of all religions and his unique achievement therein, leading to the discovery of the grand truth as many face so many paths, have brought blessings on all the peoples of all countries for all time to come, one side. Even so, the simple fact of his spending the 12 long years of his ideal divine life before those who were being carried away by the storm of the Western ideas and ideas served as a beacon light to them and made them return to their eternal religion, which was thus re-established. The floodgate was closed and India was saved from a terrible catastrophe. Thus, the twin purpose of his life were clearly borne in on us. Twin purpose. Firstly, he brought all the extant religions of the world into line with the eternal religion of India. All religions are expressions of particular parts of Hinduism, and demonstrated that all of them were perfectly true and that they were many and various only because the taste and tendencies of groups of people were many and various. No contradictions, all harmony. And secondly, he saved the soul of India. Its eternal peace and goodwill from being caught in the whirlpool of Western materialism based on self-aggrandizement and breakneck competition. These are the two qualities of the Western education. One is self-aggrandization and second is breakneck competition. Western education was introduced into India in 1836 and the Master was born in that very year. One therefore is simply astonished to see the simultaneous birth by the dispensation of providence of the two movements, namely the blast of the Western system of education, which was designed to sweep India from all her culture and civilization, and the counterblast by which the evils of that system would be rendered innocuous. some good points of that system will be taken up. Leaving free and clear the atmosphere in which the merits of the new system might be detached and then incorporated with India's own distinctive culture, much to our advantage. So from Western culture, take out the good point. And Indian culture is good, but incorporate those points, it will be. When does the divine mood come into play in human life? Now compared with ordinary man. The fullest realization of the divine mood, the final of the spiritual drama, is very rarely seen in human life. When the jiva, tightly bound by the fetters of his actions, gets liberated by the grace of God, he gets but a faint taste of this mood. For when the control of the internal and external senses of a man becomes as easy and natural as the breathing, defining divine mood now, and when a man can get it. When the control of the internal and external senses of a man becomes as easy and natural as his breathing. When losing its identity in the love of the Supreme Self, his little I consciousness merges forever in the indivisible ocean of existence, knowledge, bliss. So, Vyakti Nishtata is gone, the individuality is gone. When melted in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, his mind and intellect get rid of all kinds of dross and assume sattvika form. All dross is removed. And when the series of desires in his mind scorched to ashes by the fire of the divine knowledge, so no desire will remain. Can no longer give rise to new impressions and fruits of action. The desires lost, so no fruits of action. It is then and then only that the sweet play of the divine mood starts in him, and his life is blessed beyond measure. It is very rarely that one has the opportunity of meeting a person blessed with the full manifestation of the divine mood and enjoying an unbreakable peace and contentment. Unbreakable. Moreover, the actions of such a man, not proceeding from any sense of want, and hence appearing to be purposeless, appearance is like that. We do everything by want. There is no want, then why is doing? No purpose. Appearing. Remain forever incomprehensible to ordinary minds and intellect. So you cannot understand. We understand everything on this basis. We have wants and to fulfill them, we are doing something. Therefore it is that none but a man who is himself established in the divine mood can really understand the true nature of this said mood. It is never possible for minds and intellects like ours to comprehend the slightest significance of those extraordinary actions that are performed under the influence of that mood, unless and until we approach them with profound faith and reverence. So our way is faith and reverence, and then analyze those activities. The uncommon manifestation of this mood in divine incarnation makes their character so inscrutable and mysterious. We can never understand that. The full manifestation of the divine mood is seen in divine incarnations only. Full manifestation. The religious history of the world bears witness to it. This is why the character of an incarnation seems to us to be mysterious forever. It is possible to paint a partial picture with the help of imagination of the state of the knowledge of Brahman beyond Maya, ব্রহ্মা के পুরুষের কল্পনা আমরা করতে পারি, we can imagine. But it is beyond our power to understand even a little of the ends and purposes of the deeds and actions of the persons who ever dwelt easily and naturally in that mood. So their intention is cosmic, universal. Or explain why they are sometimes seen laboring as hard as limited beings like ourselves. That also is a cosmic purpose. Adopting definite means to definite ends, and why at other times, like gods possessed of boundless power, they do wonderful things miraculously. To fathom their mysterious doings is not possible. Our imagination is stupefied, not to speak of our reason. We stretch our reason through imagination, but imagination also does not reach there. We shall therefore narrate as far as possible only the acts of this time and the conclusions we drew as to their purposes long afterwards, when their effects are seen, when the acts bore fruits. We generally base our estimate of a cause on that of its effects. As the effect is great, so must its cause also be great. So when we ponder over the extraordinary nature of his acts of this period, we cannot fail to be convinced of the extraordinary play and manifestation of the divine move in and through his body and mind. So when we see the actions, it will all be cosmic, so divine move. Now, analysis. The 7 main divisions of the Master's Act perform under the influence of this book. 7 different categories here. Then we can understand. Although all the acts of Sri Ramakrishna, who was then ever abiding in the divine mode, were performed for the sole purpose of establishing religion, yet they can be definitely classed into 7 broad divisions. Note down, huh? Firstly, molding in an extraordinary way the religious life of his immaculate virtuous wife. Kamagandayin Patni, her religious life is molded, and she becomes one partner in his Leela. He converted her into a great powerhouse of spirituality. All that potential is in her. Thakur guided her and made this first type of work. Secondly, he met all those who followed higher ideals in their lives and were regarded at that time as leaders in religion in the great city of Calcutta, and tried to make their religious lives perfect with the aid of his spiritual power in all respects. Wherever incompletion was there, one-sidedness was there, Thakur fulfilled it, all the leaders. Through them they will teach their disciples. Thirdly, he quenched the spiritual thirst of all people, of all communities who came to Dakshineshwar during this time. So different stages of religious growth, people come to him, he fulfills them. That is the third action. Fourthly, when he saw the especially marked aspirants after spirituality about him whom he had previous visions coming to him, he classified them according to their capabilities and applied himself to the molding of their religious life. That means some are householders, some are sannyasi, all previously seen. So he divided them and taught them accordingly. Fifthly, he initiated some of them into the vow of renouncing their all for the revelation of God, and thus founded a brotherhood for propagating his own novel and liberal doctrine. to the world. So he made this yantra, Ramakrishna mission or Ramakrishna machine. Sixthly, he came again and again to the houses of his own devotees living in Calcutta and awakened the religious spirit in the lives of their families and their neighbors. With the help of holy conversation, kirtan, etc. And seventhly, he bound his own devotees fast, both householders and sannyasis, with the tie of an extraordinary love and brought them extraordinary relation, first with the tie of an extraordinary love and brought about such a wonderful cordial relation among them that all of them became extremely attached to one another and came to possess one soul, as it were. All acting in different ways, it's a common idea. So that they were gradually and naturally converted into a liberal religious body, not sankuchit, liberal. So 7 parts. We have told the reader in the last portion of the second part, Sadhana, how the master took up the first of the above mentioned 7 kinds of action, Holy Mother description, in 1874. We also discussed in the appendix to that part, Sadhak Bhaver appendix, how he took up the second kind of activity when he went to see Acharya Keshav Chandra, the leader of the Brahmo Samaj in India in 1875. How he molded the leaders. That is told in the appendix of Sadhaka. Again, we have given the reader a little indication of the third, fourth, and sixth classes of his actions in chapters 5th, 6th, and 7th of the fourth part. In the Gurva Uttarartha, what he has told, third is quench the spiritual thirst of all people of all communities who came to the kingdom. That is third. And fourth, especially Marcus parents, he classified them. Sixth, came an agreement householders in Calcutta and molded there and their families and neighbors. We therefore propose to study here how and when he took up the remaining ones. What are the remaining ones? Fifth and seventh. Fifth means training the sannyasi disciple. And seventh is bringing about a cordial love between the sannyasi disciples. This will be discussed in this Divya Bhav. Chapter 1, Section 1, the influence of the master on the Brahmo Samaj. That is how the thing started. What is Brahmo Samaj? Brahmo is the Bengali pronunciation. Brahma. Bengali pronunciate as O. So Brahmo. Brahmo is not a word. Brahma. What is Brahma? What is Vaishnava? Vishnu's followers or Vishnu's devotees are Vaishnava. Shaiva. Shiva's devotees are Shaiva. So Brahma, which they imagine to be Nirakar only, Brahma's devotees are Brahma. Samaj, a society made of them. That is Brahma Samaj. And that represented the modern educated young man believing in the religion. So Thakur influenced them first. Through them, his own disciples came. The love and regard of Keshav and other Brahmas for the master. So, influence. The general public of Calcutta could know of the master only when he met Keshav Chandra, the leader of the Brahma Samaj of India. Brahma Samaj of India, that I already told one day. Na? Brahma Samaj had become divided in different parts. But Keshav Brahma Samaj, original Brahma Samaj is not India. They think they are universal. But in Keshav Brahma Samaj, due to Thakur's influence, you may say, a lot of Indianization had happened. So the name is Bharatvarshiya Brahma Samaj. On this point, I will tell you something funny. In Kerala, a big movement, last 50 years now, Indianization of the church. You know that? And they call themselves as this Maharaj, that Maharaj. Their churches and these establishments are called ashramas. And I went to one of them near Kottayam. They wear Gerua dress. And they do like us, reading and this and that. So they say we are Christians. But we are not from Rome or we are not from outside. We are Indians. So the Indian cultural influence on Christianity. So that is what Thakur's influence has brought about them. This Bharatvarshiya Brahma Samaj I explained, like that Bharatvarshiya Church. We have said before that Keshav, who appreciated merit wherever it was found, that was the main characteristic. Gunagrahi. He did not believe in Hinduism, this or that, but Thakur's qualities he appreciated and preached to others. That is how Keshav became instrument. We have said before that Keshav, who appreciated merit wherever it was found, was much attracted toward the master from the day he saw him first. Although he was inspired with Western ideas and ideals, his heart was filled with a real love of God, and it was impossible for him to enjoy the nectar of devotion all by himself. Two things, he had bhakti and he had the leadership. That means he would share everything with others. As he was getting more and more light on the path of his life journey from the master's illuminating words and contacts, he freely told the public about it and invited them enthusiastically to come and share with him the joy and bliss of his holy company. He used to take many people and come to Thakur and published in newspapers and magazines. It is therefore seen that all the English and Bengali newspapers of that society, such as Sulabh Samachar, Sunday Mirror, Theistic Quarterly Review, etc., were full of discussions about the pure character, words of wisdom, and the liberal religious tenets of the master. Full. Keshav and other Brahma leaders were seen to repeat on many occasions the master's words from the altar as they addressed the congregations at the end of their lectures and prayers. So their prayers, lectures, and at the end they will address, and in that address, Thakur's things were told by them again. Again, whenever they had leisure, they went to Dakshineshwar with a few members of their inner circle, sometimes with the whole party, and spent some time in holy conversation with the master. One thing appears similar to that. Oh, invited all with him. That the loving relation of the master with the Brahman. Thakur loved them for this, and they loved Thakur. Feeling delighted with the thirst for spiritual illumination and love of God as these Brahma leaders, the master spared no effort to encourage them to dive deep into the sea of sadhana. They were becoming social and this and that. Thakur told them to go deep in religion and be blessed with the pearl of the immediate knowledge of God. Aparakshanda Vaita Moti. So great was his joy in the singing and conversation on God with them that he did not mind going uninvited very often to Keshav's house for the purpose. Thus a close and intimate relation grew up between the master and many persons of that society, who were real seekers of truth. Those persons only, who were real seekers of truth. He also went sometimes to the houses of the Brahmos other than Keshav and added to their happiness. For example, he often visited, especially during celebrations, the houses of Manimohan Mallik of Sindhuriyapati, Jayagopal Sen of Mathagosha Lane, Venimadhav Pal of Sinthi in Baranagar, Kashishwar Mitra of Nandan Bagan, and other persons, all followers of the Brahma faith. Their Utsav days, Thakur would go there. On some occasions, it so happened that seeing the master suddenly enter the temple while he was giving instructions from the altar, Keshav came down from it even before finishing the sermon, received him cordially, and brought to a close the prayer of that day, listening to his words and enjoying the bliss of Kirtan with him. So if Thakur went, he left his original program. And Thakur's talk and Thakur's Kirtan, they all participated. Keshav. The reason why the Brahmos regarded him as a follower of their own faith, everybody thought Thakur to be like that one. It is with the people of one's own community we stop here. We will take up this tomorrow. Om Sarvadharma Stapakastam Sarvadharma Swarupaka Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.